What's up, everybody? Everybody or nobody, whoever's here, welcome. We're talking sketch cards. Jake in the house, sketch card legend.
Uh, no.
Alex Magno Stalker.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely for that.
We will definitely be talking about Alex in this set, no question.
Oh yeah, so many good ones. I think this might be the set I have the most from. So when
nice.
I was pulling some out, I'd have like a 9 card of all Black Panther. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna grab one. We don't need to like show all of them.
So everybody here, welcome. Let's see if anybody's in the comments. Nobody, but that's okay. See a couple people watching, all of 4. Let's get into this. So yeah, this set came out in 2012, Rittenhouse Archives. This is the official title, I believe, is Avengers Earth's. Is it Greatest Heroes or Mightiest Heroes? I think it's Earth's Greatest Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually abbreviate it Avengers MGH. So
okay.
Marvel's Greatest Heroes. So yeah, because that's a lot to write out. So what's up, Brian? Welcome. So let's talk about the set a little bit before we get into the artists. So now, were you collecting Marvel at the time this came out?
Yes. So this actually might be right around when we started, because I think we started around 2012, 2013. Because my brother and I quit sports cards, like, I don't know, 2005, somewhere in there. Sport like wasn't fun anymore. And then I still had all my 90s stuff that I loved. And I don't know, I think it was Greatest Battles we stumbled upon. And it was like, oh, these puzzles. And then we just from there just expanded out. What other sets does Rittenhouse have? And Greatest Heroes seemed to have like a really good, and like I felt like the sketch quality was pretty good for that in that set. So we opened quite a bit of Greatest Heroes.
Rittenhouse, if you held them side by side, I would make an argument that on average, Rittenhouse's average quality is superior to Upper Deck's average quality.
Oh, I would say it's not even close.
Now, Upper Deck may have better, like, super high-end artists.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's enough to push the average up, because Upper Deck swings for the fences on a lot of these. And, like, if you remember when, since you're a sports guy, if you remember when McGuire and Sosa were going for it, they got a lot of runs, but they whiffed a lot. Right? So, and I think that's sort of what I think is going on these days in sketch cards.
Another thing I think it is, because when was the buyout by Disney?
Let's see. It was 2016 or actually no, you're right. When did
Disney buy
Google? Yeah, right.
Because I feel like that is actually the big distinction between sketch cards that were fun and sketch cards that weren't as fun.
Actually, it was in 2009, but it probably took a while for it really to get integrated. And plus the Rittenhouse license, the Rittenhouse deal was already in place.
Mm-hmm. And all these sketch cards were 2011 printed, right?
Yep.
And they came out in 2012.
Yeah, but Rittenhouse, it's entirely possible that they had, I don't know this, just speculation, but if the contract was already written and Disney took it over, they probably couldn't do much in terms of modification. They could probably step in if they were worried about, rejecting certain ones, but I suspect for the first couple of years, Marvel sketch cards were probably pretty low on their priority list.
Yeah.
When it came to sort of absorbing and integrating Marvel into its world.
Because the same thing kind of happened with Star Wars, because some of the early Masterwork sets would have a lot of good cartoony sketches, and then they started moving away from that, and we're like, no, it's got to be likenesses and portraits, and it's why I actually decided I'm going to downsize all of my standard size sketches of Star Wars and only keep my like box topper size stuff. And because after a while, it's like, how many portraits of Luke do I need?
right?
Just for
And especially
my level of love for Star Wars.
yeah, and if they have to go off the stills, which I think they do, then yeah, you're gonna get 30 or 40 of the exact same pose. And yeah, sometimes it's cool to see. Okay, Carlos did it this way. Lee Lightfoot did it a little different here with his acrylics and this, But after a while, yeah, it's just a little bit silly. I like this comment. I came to see the sketch cards we are not allowed to buy. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. Shall we start?
Yeah, go for it. Make those.
So we've talked about this. I do my file names all first name, last name, and then I have the set, and then I have the characters. So as a result, all of my cards are sorted by artist, by first name. So my first name is Alberto Silva, or is it Alberto?
I always say Alberto, but I have no idea how to pronounce that.
A-L-B. It's so tiny. Let's call it Alberto. Regardless, he on the set did some wonderful group shots, team cards.
Can you make that big?
Yeah, exactly. Let's make that. There we go.
Oh yeah.
So he would do 5 characters on a card. This is a future version of like the Avengers. That's Thor there. That's Sentinel's like a pet. If I was doing this upstairs, I would have all my file names in front of me and could tell you who everybody is. But I do not. So alas.
He did a lot of good obscure characters in different sets too.
Oh yeah, I mean, so over here he did the Squadron Supreme, which I absolutely loved. All the miniseries that were on the Squadron Supreme. Basically just a blatant rip-off of the Justice League, right? Hyperion is Superman, you got Green Lantern as the Prism guy, you got Batman, you got Wonder Woman is, what's her name? Power Princess. Yeah, it's just hilarious, and just a nice little Avengers one here. Again, really nice, just multi-character cards, which are always just super fun to see. Got quite a few from him. This one I actually really liked because these characters, this is probably the only sketch card of these guys. So this was a one-off they were going to do. I think it's like Cold Moon and Bloodstone or something, but they never, the issue was never released. There was like a promo talking about it, but for whatever reason, the comic never made it out.
Oh man,
so
that's super cool.
Super obscure. A really nice Illuminati here with 6 characters on one card, and not like they're skimping on the detail, right? I mean, those are all well done. These guys, that's the Texas Twister. That's some version of Thor, some version of Hawkeye. This is some alternate parallel Earth story here. I can't remember again off the top of my head. Do not remember the name, but again, just his cards with all these multi-cards. I just absolutely love this, and I just tried to grab as many as I could. Nice Thunderbolts here.
And I like these. It's like you really got to know what the stuff is, so it's a fun little thing. Like even for me, like I don't know a lot of these characters, so
yes,
it's like fun to learn about it.
Citizen V. That's Screaming Mimi. Yeah, but basically the whole story on the Thunderbolts, for people who don't know, is these are basically a group of villains who was it after Decimation? I forget after what event it was that they became this heroes group, but they were really all villains in disguise. And just I really like this Tony Stark.
I know. It's then only one character, but gosh, the detail on that is so nice.
Yeah, really nice. So definitely, is this him too? Oh yeah, I got one more. This is my most recent pickup, a nice Valkyrie. Yeah, absolutely just wonderful stuff. And next, we're going to go right into who we were talking about. So, you know what? How about why don't you take a run at it to start it with our good friend Alexandre Magno.
Yeah, so I went through my binder here, and then what I did was I pulled out one for every unique character I had. So let's see if I can do this.
And how many did that leave on the table? Like how many?
There's like I
Because he did. You're right. He did a lot of Spideys. He did a lot of Wolverines.
So this is a Black Panther. I think there was 9 Black Panthers in my binder.
You've got 9. Oh man.
Yeah. So then this one. Oh, let me.
Oh,
I saw I was just gonna pick my favorite. So I like when there's like the city, and he'll tend to he puts the moon in the background a lot. So that's Black Panther. Then there was, I think, like maybe 6 or 7 Hulks. So I grabbed a Hulk.
I actually only have 2 characters between all of mine, so I'm impressed to see some of these.
Then there was, I think, I have maybe 2 or 3 Wolverines, but this one I love because of you don't see guns.
Oh wow, Wolverine shooting guns! I know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially and in costume.
In costume, right at the viewer. I feel like that's a good, unique one.
That is awesome.
And then I've got, I think, Spider-Man might be what I have the most of, like 10 or 12. And then this one's my favorite because all the battle damage you get like at the end of the night. I always thought that was cool.
That's awesome.
And then I had a handful of Iron Man, so I picked this one because I think this is the only classic.
Oh wow!
That I have. And then I think I had 2 or 3 Thors, so I picked this one just because he always does good Thors and good scenes.
Yeah, with Surtur in the background. Mm-hmm. That's so good.
And then I think there's 2 Captain Americas. Grabbed this one. I don't know like what's going on, but if that's a specific comic or something, but it's a cool scene.
Okay.
And I think the rest
bondage, nice.
And I think the rest were all like single characters. So Namor.
Oh, nice. I mean, look, perfect example. So this is in 2012. Look at the shades of blue in the background that he did with markers. So nice.
Then Sentry.
Oh, nice.
With a good moon in the background. And then some of these have got to maybe have been yours that I got because I know you were nice and sold me some a while ago. There's a She-Hulk.
It's a nice She-Hulk.
And then Hawkeye.
Oh, nice.
And then 2 more of Magno. Got this one I actually really like. Giant.
Oh, nice Goliath.
Goliath, sorry.
Now, I'm trying to remember if that one was Pym or was that Barton when he was in that.
I don't know because it's the character that's on the back of the card, and I just didn't know because wouldn't that be Hank in this suit here, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, so it probably is Clint Barton, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Hawkeye's not there, right?
Mm-mm. Yeah. And then last one, I think this was maybe one of yours that I got, but I don't know.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's so good.
And that's the last of the Magnos that I pulled out.
Very nice. And so how many total Magnos do you think you have?
Total is probably like 240 across all sets.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
I'm so excited.
So let's do a couple. So I got a Spidey. My one last Spidey.
Oh,
I did have quite a few, but I also trimmed down. And you know, when I trimmed down, I think I gave you first shot at all of them.
Yeah, I think that's where I got them all.
I just like this, just sort of on the phone, middle of the day. And as you say, you know, sun in the background.
Yeah, that little touch just really makes them good storytelling.
Love the smoke on this one. Just sort of, you can tell something went down in the background.
That one almost feels like it could be a comic book cover.
Yeah, that is really nice. Nice little close up with the red eyes. And then I saved these 2. Really nice bloody one.
Wow. Yeah.
Just again, you just don't see that anymore.
No.
And little portrait one kind of clawing right through.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yeah, he does the claws very, very well. So I'm a fan. We're definitely this is one artist where we both certainly cross over.
Yep.
And he's worth it, you know. What's the last set he contributed to? I know he did Legendary 15. He did Masterpieces 16.
I think that was the last one.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything since then. And he's an older gentleman, right?
Yeah. And then I think after that, he wasn't really in much. I know he was in the Middle Earth set for CZX, and then he was in one of the recent Perna sets. I want to say maybe the Mythology set from the summer, but other than that, he just hasn't really been around in too much. Wow, here are all the Tomas. Okay.
Yeah, so old school Toma.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been around. So here's Justin's guy, Hercules. Nice Scarlet Witch. And it is interesting just to see how Toma's style has evolved over the years. I think what you see here is, because if you've ever seen his, when he does them before without color, like now you've got a lot more ink going on. He used a lot more white space before he colored on these older ones, and it just definitely makes them look a little different. Love this one, old school Wonder Man.
And it's not even a difference of quality; it's just a difference of sort of the style of it. But you can still tell it's him. But you could like crop out the logos and stuff and pick out which ones were older versus newer, which I like.
Absolutely. So this is probably the set. Well, no, I guess 2011 was, but Mr. Tan here, Anthony Tan, has always done just some remarkable cards, and his ink work is just amazing.
Wow.
And just that, and what I like is that's comics accurate height for Wolverine.
Yep.
Cap's neck could probably stand to be a little bit shorter there, but I'm not going to complain too much.
Yeah, just don't show it to Rick.
Exactly. And nice Scarlet Witch.
Man, those are great. Do you have a master set of this by artist or no?
No, I for my sanity gave up on the whole master set concept. Because I did at one point, and the problem was I had a bunch of cards I didn't really like, to be quite honest with you, as I got them to tick a box, and that's really what led me to my first 10% sale. Just acknowledging that, you know what, I need to stop doing this because I'm not enjoying a lot of it. So that first time I did 10% to sell, it was simple.
Yeah,
I could probably have done more than 10%. The second one was tougher. The last one was tough. And looking through this now, thinking, could I get rid of 10% of these? That would probably be 25 of these I'd have to be willing to get rid of. Again, that's going to be interesting as we sort of talk about this. So this is Ari Monroe, who only did cards for a few sets around here, but just this great little cartoony style. Again, just much more, to your point earlier, you don't get this on Star Wars anymore. You used to for a while. You had Katie Cook, you had you had a bunch.
Crosby would do a bunch, kind of.
Duran.
Loco Duck. And then those, now if they ever pop up on eBay, they go for so much because they're so hungry for the cartoony different.
Yeah.
Man, that's great.
Yeah, just again, super fun style. Just so much of this is, I mean, for me, the cards really. When I collect sketches, it's got to be one of a couple things, right? First is it a callback to a specific comic that I read? That's always the top, like, oh my God, I got to have that.
Yep.
Number two, was it just generically like X-Men or New Mutants or some of those team books that I did, including like Avengers, even West Coast Avengers. I love that spinoff. Then it's just, does the art style appeal to me? And the one thing that doesn't, and this isn't to say there's anything wrong with this, but the one thing that doesn't come into me buying a sketch is value retention or resaleability.
Oh, yeah, never occurs to me.
Because I don't think these are not investments to me. Does it feel like they're holding some value? Yeah. I mean, it seems like there are enough people who sort of get it that, it's not like I'm just throwing the money away. So that feels good, certainly.
I do have an A artist
Oh, what do you got?
Too far. Yeah. So I only opened, which you can talk about that too, the archive boxes that had the puzzles. I only ever got to open one, and this is so I still have two of the puzzles. The 6-panel I gave to my wife, but this is a 3-panel.
Oh, Alan.
Of Alan Janetta.
Oh wow,
I'm saying
that's
that right.
Group shot.
And it's the new Avengers sort of post. What is that? What was the big
disassembled? Or,
yeah. And why I love this,
there, right?
This was my Avengers. This was the first Avengers comic that I read. Was New Avengers Breakout, which is pretty wild because that's all new, right? So I then worked back from that. Because growing up, I pretty much only read X-Men, Wolverine, Deadpool, that kind of stuff. So when I read an Avengers comic, it was... So that's like when I think of the Avengers, other than, obviously I know the classic and stuff, but that's like what I think of as my Avengers. So exciting to pull a puzzle of it. So like you were talking about, like that kind of stuff, just like I can now picture the storyline and the book, and probably one of the, like, because I would buy a lot of the graphic novel like collected editions from like the bookstore.
Yep.
And probably one of the ones I've read the most over and over again is, it would say like New Avengers, I think Breakout or something. It had like a big prison breakout scene with all villains and stuff. And I've read that so many times. I love the art. It's something, I don't buy too much. I don't really have many here. I have one thing of interior comic book art. I want something from that storyline so bad. And I just need to look, but it's so expensive.
I know that's the problem. Like with the comics we grew up reading, they're just so highly sought after, and some of these prices are just madness.
It's a different world.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Anybody else in the A's or?
No. So now the next one's going to be Eugene for Commodore, is it?
Oh, Eugene. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let me make this big again here and drag you over. Come on. There we go. All right. So yes, MODOK by Ben Glendenning. Absolutely love him. I love this, trying to pick up Thor's hammer.
It's a perfect character, artist, scene combination.
Exactly. And comic book legend, because that's what he calls himself. Have you ever seen that? When he's at shows, it's comic book legend Bob Layton. That's his branding. But he is. So, I mean, it's not like he's just, it's not like I'm calling myself a comic book legend.
Yeah.
So, wonderful.
That's great.
Black Widow there with the widow in the background in the blue. Super cool. Yeah. I wish I had more Glendenning.
Yeah, I think that Black Widow almost reminds me of like a pin-up kind of poster.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got that vibe for sure. Let's see. Okay. I've got one from Buddy Prince. I'll just show him.
Yeah. Buddy's
classic Carol Danvers. And I just like how he, has the bolt in the background as well. Just to sort of make a little, the scene stick out there. That's really cool. And then, so one of my absolute favorite artists, across Rittenhouse, is Butch Mappa.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a single one in my collection.
Oh no.
I know. It's
for
a while I was toiling with like trying to get a Magneto of every artist I could think of, and I sort of gave up on that because it was driving me mad. But these are so good.
I mean, this one at first, when I first got this, I didn't even appreciate it for what it was. I'm like, oh, it's She-Hulk holding up a statue that's probably going to fall on someone. Then I'm like, that's Lady Justice. So that's her as a lawyer, and as a hero trying to hold up the scales of justice. Like, oh my God, I didn't even realize how awesome it was when I got it. Wow. Nice little Spidey, great pose. And again, just the little detail he did with the silhouette of the city just really makes that thing pop. And again, I like this one, just sort of him lounging about. The sun's
I'm saying this before we see the more, but this is my favorite. This one's great. Awesome. Yeah.
And then this one I like, and I don't think I'm gonna like give anything away with this because these are almost impossible to find. So I'm psyched I just one, which is this sort of kind of character card.
Yeah,
with her sort of inside part of the A for the ID.
Oh man,
and just great Mockingbird.
Do you know if he did multiples in that same style?
He did, yeah.
Oh,
yep, and they are locked away, as you might imagine.
Oh, yeah,
this one also gives me Mike Mignola vibes, which I really like about the inking style.
Well, and the orange reminds me of an artist in DC Superman the Legend that I like. Something, I want to say Hack. I'm trying to remember. Gosh, I got
Taki Soma?
Checklist. Sometimes I feel like my brain's leaking as I gather more info. Stuff just goes out the back.
My brain is
Robert Hack.
Okay. Chachi Hernandez. I really like these two. I like that they're sort of deep cut characters. Dr. Druid. He's one.
And that's a signature. That artist, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, I know that signature. I know who this is. And I never remember and look it up and like kind of smack my forehead.
And then Squirrel Girl with Tippy. Just, it's hard to see, but the detail on the squirrel's great.
Wow.
Fun ones there. These were all challenging to get.
Yeah.
Charles Hall, who just does wonderful oil painted work. These were a whole series he did with the Avengers logo in the background. So I was super fortunate to get a couple of these. Like, I don't think these days, I think there are too many people after them.
Yeah.
If I ever sell these, I will never replace them. At least not for, not without selling a kidney kind of thing.
Yeah. I think the last one I had that I downsized years ago sold for a lot for then. I can't even imagine now.
I mean, he's always been super popular, and rightfully so, right? Let's be honest. I mean, the detail on that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good old Wanda. In some of his early stuff, you sort of got the vibe that he was like using reference models.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And and there are a few artists where it's enough that it's jarring. But then once you sort of accept that it's just part of the style, because let's be honest, not every artist, but plenty of artists use references. A lot use those little posable toys. So nothing inherently wrong with using the references, but I think sometimes where you can even sort of get the vibe of like, oh, that looks like a Sears catalog model, right?
Yeah. I always
at that point.
I always thought of like that these were like bathing suit models, because then they'd have the least amount of clothing, so it's easier to kind of paint over top for the design. But so good.
And Charles is super talented though, and
oh my gosh.
He now he's doing sort of the way well, it's not exactly like Magic, because there's usually APs are done by the person who did the card, but he's been painting over some base cards with the character, which is really cool. So if it's a base card of Thanos, he'll do a fully painted Thanos on top of the card, where you can still see the card a little bit underneath. That's just so
cool.
And
I think they're great.
Yeah, he's so good. Got one cabbie, Chris Bradbury.
Wow.
And I just like this. I like the graffiti sort of background there. That's just really cool.
Oh, and then A on the buckle. Nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's just, again, like the little details like that, and just the time to sort of get the concept. Okay, well, here's what the whole wall looks like, and here's what just the section would be. Very cool. Mr. Foreman.
Oh, yeah.
So I love this Nightcrawler. sort of the Age of Apocalypse version. You can see with the little thing over his eye there.
Yeah, that's
and again, this was right about when he became banned, as I recall.
Yeah, I think that I'm trying to think of sets after that had him, but I don't think he was in Greatest Battles, was he?
It was somewhere around there, yeah, like
Yeah.
2012, 2013. And even now, sort of, actually, is he back? He, he sneaks through every once in a while, but I think he may still be on the ban list.
I think he is.
Some of the FF made it out. I love this Young Avengers one year.
Yeah.
Get Patriot, Stature, Wiccan, Hulkling, and Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Such a good group. And just a nice, Wolverine charging with Dakin in the foreground here.
That's
Although Wolverine does sort of, I guess, his claws are out. It's hard to see.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the claws. He looks like, get off my lawn, you kid. Oh, Ryan, nice. Hermit, the Scarlet from the last one, which I believe you mean is this one. This is Charles Hall. And Ryan, that's awesome. So Ryan got one from Charles. Surfer on a big
nice.
card. Yeah, I saw one Graydon had, which was really cool. And I think he puts them on his social media as well, Charles. So Chris Marinan, Marrinan. I've only got a pair, both Electra, and I think it's interesting to see the sort of smaller full body versus the close up. It's just the detail in these.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm not actually familiar with this artist. I don't know if I just kind of never seen one. That's great.
Yeah, there are some that are sort of deep cuts.
Yeah,
for sure. So that, yeah, no, I've always enjoyed Chris's stuff. I had a few more, but some of them didn't make the downsizing cut up until this point. But again, so up until this point, I mean, maybe one of these would be on the chopping block only because I have two.
right.
But I mean, the Sophie's choice of which one I would pick, like, oh, no thanks. I don't have to think about that. So, all right. So here's a pair of cool ones. So this first one, this is Claire Pacheco.
Okay.
And what is really cool about Claire's work is if you see those the diamonds, they've actually got gold ink on them. So see if you can see them there. And a lot of hers have little touches like that that really make them pop in person. And again, it turns what would be, oh look, it's Yellow Jacket. Who cares, right? So, oh, wow. All right. It really added something there. And again, not that you're supposed to do this, but you can literally feel the raised gold ink on there, which I love in a sketch card. It has that tactile sort of aspect to it. Dan Borginos.
And his stuff is so good.
Yeah.
Good scenes. His signature though in Rick and Morty season 3 was so different that I didn't, and that it's such an obscure sort of cartoon. It was so different. I didn't know it was him. I had to use the sketch preview checklist.
You're like, who is this guy?
Which actually, I don't think I ever told you. When you showed us how to do the search thing for, was the Wayback, the website where I was able to track, because they used to have the sketch previews for Rick and Morty season 3, but they took them down.
Oh, it was on their blog, yeah.
And they were all gone, the images, but I was able to see who wrote the blog, and I found them, emailed him, and said, "Hey, do you still have the PDFs?" And he did, and sent them to me.
That is super cool.
So I have an easy way to kind of go through for our sketch sets and my episode sets and all that.
Nice. So this is Danielle. At the time, she was Danielle Soledad, and then she's been Danielle Gransol as well. I believe that's her. Soledad, I think, is her maiden name, and Gransol is married. I might have it backwards, but the colors are so muted on this that it's hard to sort of see with the lighting.
That's
but
great.
The flowers in the background just. In fact, you know what? Down here's where it's best, actually. Great work there. My only Quake sketch card.
Yeah, but Anything with words written on it, I love.
Oh yeah, so great Scarlet Witch she did. So this was a regular pack inserted Scarlet Witch, and I actually have an AP by her as well, which was an actually a cut AP as well. It wasn't one of the 2.5 what 4x5s.
Oh yeah.
So another Scarlet Witch, and the ink
Whoa.
on the metallic ink is just amazing.
I mean, that's wild.
Just worlds of difference on the AP. I mean,
Oh my
she's
gosh.
already amazing, but then oh my god, like just compare those two.
No, that's one of the coolest I've ever seen.
Sharon Carter makes another deep cut.
Yeah.
And then X-23 with Wolby. Definitely a fun artist.
Yeah, I like getting her stuff in the Perna sets. I got 2 in the last Halloween set, and just they're always fun and just look great.
Here's 2 with just 1 from each one. Danae Frazier did the Cersei. And Danae definitely does very nice renditions of the female characters, as evidenced here. This guy, I just love him, Denver Brubaker. And again, we're talking about this, like the cartoony stuff, like when it's a real cartoonist like Denver or like Jay Foskett, they're just absolute treats. And again, my second Dr. Druid. These might be the only 2 I own from this set to have in here. But if you told me I would have 2 Dr. Druid sketches, a sketch of a guy who's probably got the same hairstyle that I'll have in a year or 2, I'd have said no way. But here we are. Again, great on the Cersei there.
No, when a Iceman versus Human Torch by Brubaker popped up on eBay a couple years ago, if the other people knew how much I bid on that thing, they would know they never had a chance. Because I was so excited for that.
I'll do 1E and then we can jump to you. Yeah, okay. I know. Like when it's awesome when you feel like you appreciate something that other people don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, and when you see that in the wild, it is getting harder and harder these days because more and more people are getting into sketches. And I think there probably is some speculation pushing up some market prices. But I mean, sure. I just love seeing all the people that are getting into it and appreciating it. Is it miserable when we lose out? Well, of course it is. We'd love to win every sketch, but that can't be the case. So it's great to see the market growing. I've so yeah, sorry, I've got a lot. You had mentioned you had some E1s. You want to jump in?
I just have one.
Just one? That's all right.
So was that Madame Mask, right?
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like this is something normally I would have downsized years ago, but I just got tired of selling stuff for $20, And I was like, I'd rather keep it. I don't need to. Like, in my mind, I was like, I don't dislike it. I like the art. It's a cool character. It's unique, but I don't necessarily at the time, like when I was selling stuff, like I had Alberto Silva, what was it? Texas Twister. And I wish I still had it, and I sold it because I was like, what do I need Texas Twister versus like Captain America or whatever it was?
Yeah, right. And then you look back at that you of years ago and you're like, arr!
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's so much stuff I let go that I don't know why I did it.
One of my absolute favorite artists here, Eman Casalos.
Oh, yeah.
Just he does some in this chibi style, so this great Hulk. I say chibi, other people say chibi.
Yeah, I always say chibi, but I don't know if there's a proper way to say it.
Over there, again, I really dig well done Squirrel Girls.
Yeah,
and you got to have Tippy to make it worthwhile.
I want like a mashup commission of Morty getting attacked by the squirrels, but with Squirrel Girl.
A little Thor, again, that same chibi style.
Man, that's good.
This one I actually picked up relatively recently. This Vision, and again, look at all the little red lines there.
Yeah.
It's hard to see, I think.
It reminds me of Mega Man. Like, I wonder if that was the intention.
That it's got that vibe for sure.
Like that and the Nova. Oh man.
Yeah, right. That's a great one. Yeah, if you've got him on, I'm your Huckleberry, as I like to say. Bring it on.
Yeah, I was so excited when the Vegeta Wolverine mashup was let go a long time ago. I love his Dragon Ball mashups.
Yeah, I think I've got 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had them in that last video.
Yeah, it was Marvel. It was 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, so good. Only got 1 of Eric McConnell, and it's so well done. Like, again, I really could care less about Stingray in general, but this is just an amazing sketch card.
Yeah.
I love chibi art. Who is there? That was Amon Casalos. He signs his name, N-A-M-E, which is his name backwards. And yeah, Hermit. He did the Marvel ones in a Dragon Ball Z style. I think it was a subset, and maybe did like 5 or 6. He didn't do a ton of them.
Yeah, not many.
Here are some from Felipe Massafera. Felipe is a published comic artist and mostly popular as not mostly, but very popular as a cover artist as well.
That Quicksilver is awesome.
Yeah. And again, you could just sort of see it right there. You're like, wow, these are just very, I mean, they just grab you. I mean, the detail on that cap. The Quicksilver with him in the background. The blurry, the light drawn, really nice. Another classic sort of Wolvie coming right at you. Love me some Felipe. I'm assuming you're going to know who this is.
Oh, yeah. Frankie Dawson.
It's hard not to like. His style is just so distinct.
I've got a 11 by 17 painting of Thing on the wall right over there.
Nice. Like, this is one of my favorite Dokken.
It's why I got the painting. Is his Thing is my favorite of any artist. But yeah, these are so good. Gosh, the Iron Fist.
Like, and this is one where it's easy to have the fist forward like this and get the perspective wrong. Oh. I feel like you just nailed it there.
And I bet that looks perfect at like arm's length away from you.
Oh yeah. Yep. And obviously super well done Wolvie here.
Yeah.
God, I hate seeing my fingers on screen. Maybe I should stop like self-mutilating. All right. Who do we have next? We have George Calloway. I think, do I only have one? I only have one from George Calloway, and then I have one from George Davis.
Yeah, and I've just got one here. I think it's, if I remember the signature right.
But again, back to a Scarlet Witch. Really nice.
Yeah, poor Hermit. All the Scarlet Witch. Oh, yeah, I love George Davis. Another good signature, too, so you just know it right away in the style.
For sure.
Did really good sketches in Batman the Legend.
Yeah, I've got a few of his across sets. He always does.
This is the only This is Greg Kirkpatrick, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, again, another one that I normally wouldn't necessarily keep just for what my characters I like, but I was like, I just, it's still nice. So I kind of made a rule last couple of years of just not selling any Marvel sketch cards for the very foreseeable future. I'm just keeping everything.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think I could possibly get to 10%. I have like 250 cards in my sale binder. I feel like that's probably enough.
Yeah.
Going into OAX. but we'll see. I mean, never say never, right? Couple eyes here. There we go. We got Ian Yoshi Roberts.
That's nice.
This is great, great use of the blue to sort of show that sonar in the background. And then two by Irma Ahmed, two very different style ones. Really nice Electra and a nice cheeky style Scarlet Witch. And again, if I get the light right on the effects around her hand, it's done in like a red metallic ink. Just so fun to see in person. Yeah, if you're a Scarlet Witch and or Electra fan, this set has a lot of good cards, to say the least.
The only problem is boxes are what, like $250, $300 a box now.
Yeah. Which compared to a Premier box, it's not terrible actually, right?
That's fair.
But then again, not much is bad compared to a Premier box. How do you spell that artist name? The one I just did? That's Irma, Irma, Ahmed, Ahmed. And sometimes she goes by Amo, Aimo. So Irma, Amo, Ahmed. Jay Foskett, we mentioned him earlier, another cartoonist who does really nice stuff. This guy, who the world definitely knows who he is these days, Jeff Confer.
Yep. God, that's good. I looked because I was hoping some of mine. I had one from this set, and I don't have one. So good, just the shadowing and the shading he does.
Yeah, we were talking about this in particular, him in particular. There are, like, a lot of times I don't mind talking about these artists because, again, there's so many people in sketch cards. It's not like there are any secrets anymore. Like I remember when MM16 came out, I feel like I was on the cutting edge of Liddy when she came out and really just grabbed her stuff heavily. And that's why I've got so many. I saw her early. You don't really see that anymore with EPAC. Like, people can see styles on day one of release and know who's good. Like, a perfect example, like 8 or 10 years ago, oh my God, what is her name? Karen Darbo just came out. She's an established artist and she does great work, but this was her first, not Premiere, the one right before it. Whatever, recent card set, her stuff came out, absolutely amazing. 10 years ago, she would have been like one of those, best kept secrets.
Yeah.
Everybody saw her stuff and was like, oh my God, this one's amazing. So yeah, there are no more secret gems these days, which is fine. It was a fun time in collecting when you sort of felt like you were the cool kids who knew hot new artists.
It's kind of how I always felt about Magno. It was just like, why don't people like this artist? Like, I know they're not all perfect, the faces sometimes, but I was like, these are so great. Good scenes. Oh, wow.
So yeah, so this one, there's a whole set of these, and I had the opportunity to get them all, and I don't know why I didn't, quite honestly. Oh, no, I remember. So there were 8 in this series, and each one was a letter spelling Avengers. And I think they only had 6 or 7.
Oh.
And I knew it would drive me crazy. So I'm like, you know what? If you're willing to sell, I'll just take the A and be happy with it.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeremy Treese, another one, very distinct style.
And I also think kind of underrated. I really like his stuff.
Yeah, he does great. Very, again, super stylized. Love it. Great Daredevil by Joe Picar.
I was just sitting here thinking, like, why can I not remember the name of this artist?
Yeah, I mean, just the great work on the lines, and then with the background with the night sky and the blue shading around it.
Yeah.
And then another nice Wolvie by Picar. Sketch cards being the big hit. Yeah, I mean, they certainly were simpler times. I don't disagree with you, Ryan. Or I would love to go back when it was sketch cards and comic cuts were a rare hit.
Yeah,
right? Like in Marvel 75th, But then I'd be like, oh well, then I want to go back when we had archive boxes and all this stuff. God, how many archive boxes do you think you opened?
Oh my! Not only a couple. We were like, I didn't know it existed for a long time. So I think I only opened 2, maybe. Well, me and my brother Dave, and then my good friend Keith. That he just has no social media, so all his stuff is kind of hidden. But he collects too. I want to. Yeah, I think we each did 2, like one each for Christmas, and then one each for another Christmas.
Nice.
I did Greatest Heroes, where I got the 3 puzzles, and then shoot, what was the other one? It was just one of the ones where you got like 20 sketches or something. It didn't have puzzles. I can't remember. What about you? You had to have opened a
I'd
ton
be
of
willing to bet I probably did about 20 or 25 over my
so
career. I know at one point I did 5 in a row when I first came into MCCW, back before I was a mod or anything. And I posted some videos, and that was one of the first. It was one of the first big Marvel sort of reveals on Facebook I did. Just a quick one by Joe St. Pierre.
Yeah, Joe's always great.
Wonderful work. I was after one of his cards on Facebook today that he did. It was a Divas, and I threw out a big number. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this. Nope.
Wow.
And that's and which is fine, because I wasn't willing to pay more, and somebody was. So awesome to them. But it is funny, that happens more and more. There's a lot more big money in the game now, which is, again, as someone who has a lot of sketch cards, it's kind of exciting, actually, because on some level, all right, I don't buy them for the value, but it's always great when you see that there is still inherent value in all the stuff I've thrown all this money at, right? John Zopp. Love John Zopp.
Gosh,
I think I can live that. There you go. John, very storytelling in his stuff. You got Grandmaster, sort of the setting the scene, looking over Vision and Yellow Jacket there. I don't know if this was an actual cover or just when he did, but again, the background that he did with all the different color bleed looks like watercolor even. And I'm a sucker for anywhere there's a logo too, or any, like when the character's name is listed. Absolutely love that. Sort of a different view here, same character with Iron Man. But again, look at the bottom there with all the Kirby crackle and explosion, the white from the chest, the green off her power, the sort of blurry star background. Like, this everything in this card is just so well thought out. Just another Avengers one, just Carol Danvers flying up in the sky. Yeah, John is. John's been around for ages. So good. We got Jomar coming up next.
I've got one as well.
Excellent. All right, why don't you go first while I'm putting these away?
Yeah. So, Human Torch. This was an interesting buy, because when I bought this off eBay, their image, the background looked blue. So I thought he was in front of like the sky. And I got the card, and I was like, whoa, what is going on? Like, it's totally different. And I took a photo and sent it back to the seller, and I said, hey man, this is like, I'm not gonna complain. I still like the card. Like, I don't need a discount or any money back. I was like, but this is crazy. Like, you messed with the levels on the photo so much that you totally changed the color of it. And he was just like, oh yeah, sorry, it was just my scanner.
Sure.
But Jomar is great.
So, all right, so because I need the time. So there's, you know what, I'm going to jump to this one first. So it definitely can be a challenge on these displays to show the puzzles. Right?
Oh man, here we go. That was the 6-card puzzle I got in my archive box, and it was a 4, so that's why Sam's got it now. But his puzzles in this set were so good.
Yeah, I've got a few coming up, and some I might actually leave in the 6-card ones. I might leave at the binder page and just pull that as well. Yeah, so it's like anytime these old school puzzles are awesome. And then here's a different one by Jomar, just a very different style, a little chibi Wolvie getting his butt kicked by Red Hulk. And I love like the little skull and the sort of cartoony symbols above his head.
Well, so his like chibi ones he did for the Mental Con were so good. I didn't know he did them back then.
Yeah. Yep. No,
Yeah.
I've got a few from different sets. I think I have.
That's incredible. I just had never seen them or didn't remember.
All right, that's gotta go there. Let's redo this. John Hughes. Again, another Scarlet Witch. Why not? Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to keep the puzzles on the page. Like trying to get these back in is kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But again, John retired from sketch cards, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got a couple of things from him right before he retired too.
Again, just great people. It's great to see how everyone uses the art to do the magic effects. Like I don't know if you can see it, but you see the little symbols in between the swirls,
gosh, that's
so cool. Or whatever they call them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's super cool. Let's go here.
I think John's one of those people that, like, a lot of more modern collectors don't know about, like how good his stuff is.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you've only started in the last few years, there's so many of these from Rittenhouse you would have no idea about.
I can't believe you just set these down. This is the other artist I was just about to say, because I always think of both of them, John Hughes and Flowers.
Yep. I mean, just such a dark version of Red Hulk there, right? Just so good. And again, the Tigra. Tigra or Tigra?
I always say Tigra, but I don't know.
Potato, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He just does wonderful, wonderful work. And there's also, so there's him, but there's also someone who's Flowers, as I recall, right? I think there's a different artist.
Yes.
I forget who that one was. I think this is Joshua Flower. I'm pretty sure there's someone else who's Flowers.
Yeah, so this is the one I meant. I forget who the Flowers is.
Oh yeah, his stuff's just awesome.
Yeah, there's a Magneto. I think it's still on eBay. It's been on there a while that I really like, but I just haven't wanted to spend the money they want.
So this is actually one of my favorites. This sort of cartoony chibi style. This is Juan Fontanez.
Oh wow!
And just such a fun take on Tigra.
That's great.
Tigra. And I love the little bead of sweat on the little guy's forehead. And then, of course, Katie Cook.
Yep.
And this is, oh God, who is that? It's not Firestar. It's,
I have no idea.
I forget her name. It's something similar, though.
Hey, Graydon.
It's Katie. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Katie Cook is just
the cool. Tigra. Absolutely. Hey, what's up? Last Pack Magic.
Wasn't there somebody doing like a Katie Cook collection for one of the sets that was like insane? Where they had like a huge number. It was X-Men Archives or something.
Yeah, Fooey. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's my key set. So the fact that I've been able to get like 8 or 9 Cooks is like a coup from my perspective, because that was his combo. So yeah, that was always a little wall towards collecting I had to work my way through. Speaking of artists who we discover and then the world catches on to them, we've got Kat Larange.
I was wondering if she was in this set because I don't have the checklist sort of memorized.
Yeah. Kat, her work is very, it's got a Disney animation feel with her coloring and her line work. She's just amazing. She has been one of my key artists for years and years. And it seems like in MM22, the world finally the world at large caught on.
Yeah, I got one from Steven in a trade when he was going for his like green sets, and he was like, because he said, I don't care about sketch cards really. And I was like, yeah, I definitely want that because it's a Storm, but as Thor, like the Thor.
Nice. Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I want that.
I mean, great version of Wiccan.
Oh man, that is.
Just a nice Wolverine. And again, look at the detail of the fire in the background.
Yeah, man.
Just, again, the colors just amazing. Oh my God.
No, great. I have not bought any more Sabretooths. It was one card. What am I supposed to do?
You buy one Sabretooth, and all of a sudden, you're on a watch list.
Well, Adam Harris is probably my new person that I've been sort of trying not to like go nuts and super collect like I did Magno. I really like his stuff.
And he does very, very good stuff. There's no denying that. Kristen Allen. Love Kristen's work. I've got quite a few Kristen Allens. She's approaching 100 sketches, I think.
Always does good female characters.
Yeah. Great. She does great work on the hair, too.
Yeah, that hair is crazy.
Yeah. Another one of my key artists, early work from him, Lack Lim.
Do you have a Kristen Allen Medusa? It just occurred to me with the hair.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if I didn't, to your point.
Wow. Yeah, Lack Lim's just...
Lack is Lack, Tony, Roy Cover. Those three do the finest ink work in sketch cards, I think.
Agreed.
And Lack does, here's a good example.
Yeah.
Lack's characters are a little cartoony, so he's sort of got a style where they're a little, I don't know what the right word is. They're just a little like stretched out. They're a little more elongated than normal. That's sort of his cartoony style. And again, but if this is cartoony, I mean, holy crap. I mean, again, see if I can get it up close so you can see the level of detail. Yeah, that's
crazy.
So the blur, that's the problem when I get too close. It blurs. But yeah, it's wonderful detail. Thing holding back Thanos. If only that was in the movie.
Oh, man, I know. I'm excited for the next movie.
And then Louis, I'll get to him in a second because I've got a puzzle from him, but I got a few before then, which is I've got, just take these three out and I can show the page. Good one. All right, another widow, Lee Cosi, Luke Smarto, the woman, and Mark Voguen on another Black Widow. This one's really awesome.
Yeah.
Love
really,
those.
I like the Lee Cosi watercolor that he would do.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a simple face, but it's beautiful. All right. My first 6-card puzzle of the night. Spider-Woman fighting a whole boatload of Skrulls.
Is this one you pulled?
Yes. Wait, which one was it? One I pulled, one I did not. I think this was the one I pulled. Let me do this. Might be better if I just hold it up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, that puzzle, you get one of those pieces, you don't quite know what you're getting.
Oh, yeah. Like,
put it together, that's so cool.
The good old days of when we'd get them all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
God. Let me do this one next. I have another 6-card puzzle by Louis, also featuring Spider-Woman, but it's part of the team. So you got Wasp back there, Hulk, Wolverine, Iron Man, Black Panther, Sentry, Cap. You get 8 characters on a 6-card puzzle. Absolutely love that.
Wow.
Very, very cool stuff. Let's go back to here. So you're not all staring at me. Who do we got next? We have Mark Tanacor, Marlo Rodrigueza.
I was going to ask you. That's another one I've got here, and I was like, I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Yeah, again, Tanacor, great background there in the city.
Yeah, wow.
Just really makes that pop. Really nice one with Carol Danvers and Wolverine. Like the detail on his face and the claws just gets that. Uh, so good. And yes, Streb, the nice Black Knight.
Streb's always good.
Really like his work. All right, what do you got?
So this is.
Oh, yes. He does. His multi-panel ones are just amazing. I feel like I need to find like an A+ Magno or something to to lord over you for that one. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, this was like a eBay find. And I was thinking,
was it really?
Oh, yeah, years and years ago. And I was like, this is really cool. Why is this just sitting on here? And I snagged it. And that was, man, like it's just nice to get a good sort of comic book sequential sort of scene. You don't see that stuff rarely.
All right, this one I'm going to try this way, because why not? All right, let's get back to here. So we got another Streb, Jack of Hearts, right?
Whoa.
Who would have thought?
Oh, I love that. That's really cool.
We got a couple Fodras here. Moro, we got Mockingbird.
Yeah, he loves doing big Hulk, like small Spider-Man, like scale difference. That's great.
And I love this one, which is sort of the transition.
Yeah, wow. Todd has so many good transition Hulk sketches of like science and explosions and stuff. And
oh my God, having him show up finally on social media and sharing all of his stuff the way he has, like, I don't think people in these groups realize what a treat they're getting with him sharing his stuff.
I can't wait to talk to him at OEX. Like he's the only. I feel almost like a groupie kind of, or like a fan, like at a concert. Like
it is funny. Like yeah, I agree. Like
oh one of the Beatles is going to be at OEX. And I'm like, I need to
trying
to
like
this
geek out with this stuff. Huh?
Wow.
Another Fodra here, 4-card Ant-Man.
That's great.
And it's just fun, you know?
Yeah.
Just the detail with all the ants. Very cool stuff. One problem with taking them out is I got to put them back in.
Yeah.
All right. You would think with 4 cards I should be able to quickly figure out which body part goes where, and look at that, I did. So Glebes, if you know the Glebes, you know that Matt loves Iron Man and Mick loves Wolverine. They cosplay as him all the time, go to cons. This is actually one. It's just Matt who did this. It's not both of them together, which is kind of cool. And then, actually, I'm gonna put a pin in Glebe. Actually, no, I'll do Glebe first. This one I pulled, and this is probably one of my best pulls to date. And I think it's both of them. I think. But here we go. So this was an absolute treat when I pulled this.
Oh yeah.
You know, Iron Man and Black Widow.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Puzzles are fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those archive boxes, it was like Glebe and Slickaway. If you get one of those, you made your year. And it was like the greatest thing.
Him Slickaway vanishing from Sketch Cards was a shame, and he passed away like 3 years ago, as I recall. Another Fodra and 2 Meljoy San Juans. Speed, and again, a lot of Black Widows. That is a nice one. Meljoy San Juan and JS does some absolutely amazing work. And this, the Fodra, just so good. What I like about this is just sort of the contradiction. You got Speed sitting around, relaxing, listening to a Walkman, right? I love fun stuff like that. Just kind of playing with the character. Always cool to see. All right. This is the downside of the binders, so I got to take them out and put them back. All right, we've got Mike Ruth. Nice thing there in the wrestling ring.
Oh man, that's great.
pair from Nestor Solario.
Oh man, Nestor.
Kind of old school Iron Man, the bronze A there, original costume. Just so fun. And then this Taskmaster, just an interesting take on him.
Yeah, that's great.
Like a lot of this is just finished in pencil.
The monochrome kind of sketches he did, I absolutely loved.
Absolutely. And then back to the big screen, we've got 6-card puzzle Noval Hernawan.
Wow.
Nice Avengers group there. Super fun to see. Sketch cards. We love them so. All right, let's go back to this. You're not staring at me.
And here's the one Mike Ruth I've got.
Oh, let's do that. Oh, wow. That's... that is so good. I just love sort of the action there.
Mm-hmm.
Just the... Like, it's a still image, but the movement is just there. It's captured. That's awesome. Anybody else in the M's or N's?
No, next one is a Richard Cox puzzle.
Yep.
Whenever we get to R.
Yeah, I got a couple to work through here. So we have Mr. Barbosa, Newton Barbosa.
Oh man, Newton's always great.
Patrick Lacarda. I'm gonna have to hold this one up because it's so dark. But the way he did her Patsy Walker's Hellcats bodysuit, it's showing through with the yellow. Really love what he did there. Again, Barbosa, just beautiful, like fluorescent colors there on Iron Fist's powers. Rainer Lagunsad. A lot of Black Widow. Black Widow, Scarlet Witch. Black Widow's probably got at least I probably have the most of Black Widow in the set, I would think.
I feel like it's what I pulled the most when I opened boxes.
Dr. Doom, finally. Wow. Remy Mokhtar. Yeah. She see that comment?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I love that Doom. Remy Isu Mokhtar, E-I-S-U, goes by. All right. You do my Rhiannon, and then we will jump over to Richard.
Oh, this is just...
Got those two there. Yeah, Rhiannon is just, she's awesome. The work she does is just top shelf. And her looks are super distinct. Like, you can see one of our cards and you immediately know it's hers. And I got, again, just the level of detail in there.
Another artist I wish I kept some, but it was like if it wasn't Magneto or Wolverine, I was like, I don't need it. And I wish I kept just because they're so cool. Wow.
Yeah, nice 3-card She-Hulk. Fun stuff. Why don't you show us what you got for Richard Cox?
Yeah, so this was the other 3-card puzzle I got from my archive box. Oh, let me figure out how I got to arrange this. Hold it up right. So, that other one was like New Avengers, right? Yep. So I think they did this on purpose, which is kind of cool. They gave me the classic Avengers. If I can get this right.
Oh, nice.
This way.
And that's actually, for Richard Cox, who usually does very muted tones, that's really colorful. Like, that stands out among his cards to me.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Hot dang. What have I got over here? I got Roger Goulart. Rodrigo Martins I get a pair from. Nice Electra. Nice Ruby Spidey.
Oh, wow. That's a good combo.
And then we have a couple from Roy Cover. Wicked and Speed, the siblings there.
His stuff is so good. Like, that's such a cool Hawkeye.
And just the detail he puts in again on these small little cards is just amazing. Like, it's probably hard to see on some of these to try and get that right angle so you can really see what's going on here. But he really puts a ton of detail in there. Let's see this.
Yeah, I got two R's here. I think this is Rich Molinelli. I think this is one I got from you, so you would remember the Magneto.
Oh, yep, Molinelli, yep.
Yep, and then Martin's for the Iron Fist.
The city work he put in, again, like, for what they were paid, he didn't have to do that. But
no.
Look how it takes a decent sketch, but, you know, probably if it was just by itself with no background, an average sketch, and it just elevates it.
Yeah.
Do we have any sketch cards from Brendan Benson? I
don't know that artist.
I don't recognize that name. No, JDM. What sets were they on? We got a Ryan Kincaid there. Yeah, just wonderful. Oh, it would help if I did this, wouldn't it? Sorry. Come on, drop. Come on. There we go. Didn't want to take you off the screen. Kincaid, really nice. Carol Danvers. Ryan, oh boy. We sort of touched upon this at the beginning. Quality, average quality is, I'd say, first of all, average quality is down in general, yes. But I also think part of the problem is that it's the price point as well. So you feel it more.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas there are a lot of cards in Premiere that in $100 box set where the sketch was the hit, they would be more than acceptable. But some of these, as you're hit on a $500 pack, no, I'm sorry. They're just, I'm not going to say anything specific, but look, I'd be lying if I didn't say there were one or two sketch artists who I don't think should be on the sets.
Yeah.
Period. That's all I'll say. I'm not saying who, but it's really only one or two. There are plenty of them who on a normal set would be fine, but when you have sets that are branded as sketch card focused, or even when it's branded as masterpieces, if average typically is a 5, the average on a set like that needs to be, you know, your range isn't 1 to 10. Your range needs to be 4 to 10, right? And your average in that case is 7 or 7.5. That's the problem. So this is Santa U.
Really?
This is a recreation of
I would
one of the Avengers covers. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, sorry, I can't get them on the line up perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
No, and again, you know, Santa, I was collecting Santa. I'm going to sound like I knew Santa back when she was, no. But, you know, I did. I really enjoyed Santa back in the day. Got a whole bunch of her cards from these older sets. And she still is going strong and hugely sought after. I was able to just pick up it's on its way, a Santa from X-Men Archives that I'm just so excited to share when it gets here. But yeah, Santa does wonderful. She's got her own unique, I would say, if you've got realistic, chibi, cartoony, she's somewhere in the middle of chibi and cartoony, somewhere in that hybrid. And these, again, just perfect examples. Got a couple puzzles coming up here. First one by Scott Rory. Really like this one. Actually, I've got a single Moondragon by him as well. And then this Storm.
That's really good.
Scott does fantastic work. And then, I have to plan this out a little. I've shifted this whole thing, when I'm putting everything back, I've shifted everything one because of a card I sold last night. So I'm trying to make sure everything goes back in a reasonable home. Um, this is a Scott Barnett puzzle.
Man.
Great Wonder Man.
Yeah, I just don't see Wonder Man a lot. At least I feel like I don't see a ton. Man, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm thrilled we've got a Wonder Man collector. I may not give up some of my gems, but I've been, I mean, anytime I see one these days, I'm letting Bill know.
Yeah.
I just love when we get character collectors for these characters who don't always get the love they deserve. And I think Wonder Man is absolutely one of those. So it's great to see, he's come into the hobby, and by collecting him, I think he's brought attention to the character that some new collectors might not have otherwise paid attention to him, which I just love to see. So I'd love to see when someone's passion sort of expands the hobby as a result.
Yeah, I feel like in the last 4 months, I've seen the most Magic and Wonder Man sketches than I've ever seen.
Yeah, exactly. And between Bill and Justin, absolutely opening the doors to that. And I mean, in some ways, it is interesting. And I'd love to. I've asked Justin. I said we should get on a stream and just do all Magic sketches between us, because I would love to ask him. I think there's definitely, I would call it the Justin effect in this example, or the Magic effect, because Magic prices have absolutely gone up. And I think it is, I would argue it's a direct result with someone so visible as him declaring a big character. Don't get me wrong, she was always expensive. She's always been super popular. But when you've got someone with that sort of platform really talking about how much he loves her, it gets attention, right?
And not easy to pull. I don't think I ever, not in sketches.
No. I mean, I've probably got 200 of hers, but that's over 15 years.
Yeah.
That's taken a long time. I don't know if you could see it on, these are all Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller, yeah. I thought that was Miller at the bottom there.
Sparkles around her power again. I just love seeing that. Again, another, great detail to recreate an entire cover with 9 characters on it on a single card like that. Just a nice Wolverine there as well.
Man, that Wolverine's cool.
There's 2. I got Tess Fowler next. You got anybody in the tees?
So I got, these are my last 2. These were my Tess. That's funny you said Tess Fowler. It's the only sketch I've ever sold that got returned, where the person got it, looked at it, and they were like, "I really don't like it. I don't want to be mean, but I just don't want to keep it." And then they sent it back, and so I was like, "You know what? I'm keeping it for that."
Okay.
And then just a fun Absorbing Man. I always thought he was kind of cool. And
I love that he did with the group up top. Yeah. That I assume he did a whole subset of different Masters of Evil, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the Black Widow. Just the wasn't a lot of detail put on the foot ankle area. It was so funny. The buyer was just very honest and just like, yeah, I just didn't really notice the ankle, and was like, I can't keep this. And I was like, that's all right. If you want to pay to return it, I'm just not gonna pay for return shipping. He's like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, these days, my kids would be like, they got cankles. Right? That's the whole joke thing these days. All right, we got Tess Fowler, Great Electra, and then Thon Bowie, who does a lot of cards. And I like these here. So these is a whole subset he did of Avengers ID cards.
I've never seen those. That's so cool.
Yeah, I was able to get 2, which was an accomplishment. Because they're locked away somewhere.
Man.
And it's funny, again, to your point, I mean, you've been collecting a long time and you haven't seen these.
Nope.
I imagine, from other people's perspective. And again, he did the barcode there, which is just super cool. And it's a little printed on there. Yeah.
What does it say underneath his signature?
It says card member and then Director of National Security, and that's where he signed his name.
Yeah, that's so great. Those are, I think that might be my favorite thing we've seen tonight. Those are so cool.
Yeah, it's definitely wild. Enjoy those. What's up, Shayara King? Welcome, welcome. Let's put you back, and you, and you, and you. So this is someone who did a lot of the oversized incentives for some sets.
Okay.
Tim Shea.
Oh yeah, I like Tim Shea.
Just a wonderful, like, I mean, the tongue's a little interesting take, but
That's cool.
just great rendition. This guy's coming to OAX. Mr. Perna. God help us all. Tony Perna coming to OAX. But I use that as a delay to go back to Mr. Tim Shea.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude.
That thing is that's probably my best puzzle from this set.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That almost just feels like it's from doing all the incentives, the large stuff for a while, like all the DC incentives.
Yeah.
And it was
It's a way to cheat and continue to use an oversized.
Yeah. That's
Oh
cool.
my god, yeah, I was super. I mean, come on. We've got Tony Scott, pair from him.
Oh, I like Scott.
And Jack of Hearts. This was a good set because I mean, he is, even in Avengers, he's obscure, but
Yeah.
just a really fun character to see. And just done so well in that movie.
Well, both those characters, I don't feel like you see much out of the set outside of this set.
Absolutely. And then one of my favorite artists across sketch cards,
Yeah.
Mr. Martinek.
I love looking through his website.
Yeah. So on this set, and I'm pretty sure these were incentives. It's hard to tell because I took them out, but I have my notes on there. So he did one or two for every year. So each of these has a date on it. So you've got Civil War from 2006, you got Falcon back in 79, 63 for the vintage Avengers team, and 95 for whatever version that was. Interesting version of Black Knight there. But yeah, I love Warren's work. His cover recreations are just an absolute treat to behold. And with that, I'm done with the regular sized cards.
Okay.
Now I have the oversized.
I didn't even think to look to see if I had any. I'm gonna have to do that real quick before we hop off.
So the way I store these, so I'll share this just in case anybody does collect in binders and is trying to look for a way. So what I did is I took a 8x10 photo top loader. I slide these into it, and then there's an 8x10 binder page that I can put in there, and it allows me to clip these right into the books.
That's
so I'm going to slide them. Because of the light, I'm going to do them each one by one. So this is an Albert Morales commission I got from him. Danny, you're going to see a lot of Danny's in here.
Oh, I bet.
Even though she wasn't an Avenger, I had to take advantage of the stock that artist had on hand.
Oh, yeah.
Alcione de Silva.
Man.
Just wonderful work there he did. Just such good colors. And I love the detail he did on the bow with that sort of power thing going around it.
I mean, that could be a base card. The detail, that's perfect.
Absolutely love it. So these next two are interesting. So I won't share this one for long because it's sort of a personal cut. Let me do this one first. Alan Janata.
Okay.
In fact, let me get rid of that. There we go. Rogue battling a Sentinel. So this is obviously an aftermarket because he wasn't on the set. But I remember I was getting some commissions from Dre. And he's like, "Hey, I have an idea for an AP." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "I can't tell you what it is." It's like, "Okay." He's like, "You want it?" And I'm like, "Sure." It's like, "Great." It's like, "Send me a picture of one of your kids as a baby."
Okay.
And I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
And so we ended up doing it with him in Thanos' glove in an Avengers suit.
Wow.
I thought that was pretty cool. So this is an interesting combo here. So first, let's do Charles Hall, because this is just an amazing AP here. There we go. No glare, no whammies. Just a real classic Emma right there. So this one hurts my soul. So there's a collector 401 Blues Curtis. Passed away. I helped his mother sell a bunch of cards. This was a 2-card puzzle he had commissioned, and it was the Young Avengers playing like on a Wii, and his mother couldn't find the other half of this.
Wow.
With Wiccan and Stature on the other side, and Hawkeye. So I kept just the one half of it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Let me see if I can remember who this was. Which Morales is this? This isn't Albert. Which one is this? I don't know. So here's a Glebe.
Oh, that's nice.
They did it, Logan and X-23 from the movie version. Obviously not sanctioned because you weren't supposed to do likenesses.
Right.
This Morales? Which Morales? It's not Albert. I can't remember his name. Another aftermarket I had done at a convention. Embarrassing. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Another convention one I had done on stock. That's Sean Crystal.
Nice.
Sean actually, I don't know if you can see it here in the background. Sean did that. I hate trying to do this with my finger.
Oh.
That Marvel Snap piece right there, Wolfsbane.
That's cool.
And then the last one. Oh, help if I went back here. Uko Smith, Magic, AB.
He does such a good Magic.
He just does amazing work. He's awesome. And he's always at conventions up in this area. And well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Went through the entire binder of Avengers 2012.
Let me
Really
glance at my display case, see if any of the 4x5s are Greatest Heroes, because I can't remember.
Nice. Oh. Yeah, so it's...
I've actually never shared this.
Oh, all right. There we go. Exclusive right here.
I got this from... Oh my gosh. Was it Danny Diaz who had a big collection, then downsized all of it? So this is Dan Borganos, and it's Marvel. Oh, let me take it out of the stuff. Maybe this will be a little bit easier.
It's an AP puzzle. Nice.
AP puzzle, and then
my God, look at all the characters. Is that a crossover too?
It's a crossover of DC and Marvel. Let me take it.
Do I see Superman there? Wait a minute.
Because you can't post this stuff in MCCW, so I've never shared it.
Don't be bad. Don't be bad over there. Like
One time I had thought about photoshopping in one of the admin's faces over every DC character.
Hopefully it wasn't me.
But I was like, that's just too much work.
No.
Here we go.
Well, we actually, that's why in the we rebranded to the Marvel and DC card group.
Yeah, maybe I should, while I got it out, take a good photo of this. But yeah,
I would love to see a good scan of that there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so cool. Again, those big group shots, Dan does such a good job.
But yeah, I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it might be 30 characters.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for letting me join in. This was fun.
Thank you for joining. It's always good when it's not just me doing like a soliloquy for an hour and a half. I will probably keep doing these. So now I've gone through 2 of my sets. I took 2 episodes for 2011 Marvel Universe, got through this one in 1. I'd like to do some character-focused ones. Like I said, I've asked Justin if he wants to do a magic. Hopefully, we'll figure out some timing on that. Yeah, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Cool.
So, hey, a couple people who watched us live, thanks. If you're watching on the replay, hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you next time for another Binder sketch review. Thanks, everyone. Catch you around.